Oh my gosh, these are the guys that made this work today. These are the guys. I have got Louis on my left, I've got David on my right. Two macho men, and I'm feeling a bit hot right now, but this is all good. And this is also a serious event. We're talking about father figures. We're talking about... What am I talking? I shouldn't be saying it at all. Let's let one of them start it off. David, start with me.
So where do I start? Okay, so today's our 8th annual Father's Day event and 7th anniversary for Father Figure Children and Family Services. And I'm feeling immensely proud, I guess would be the word, of the community, to be fair, because I don't think people have come here because of me. Obviously indirectly, but they haven't come here because of me. I don't know most of the people here, but they've come because they believe in the concept and the idea that as a community we need to support, embrace and build up our fathers instead of finding ways to find faults. We need to build them up. So yeah, it's a great day so far.
Yeah, of course it has. Louis, there's another poignant moment, quite a serious moment. We're here at a school that a serious tragedy happened with a young brother of ours. What are we going to say to the kids out there that when we come together like this in a force to do something right and positive?
Well, in fairness, the kids have already done that today. We have a United Youth Team Tournament. It's the second year we've had it in a row. And we've got kids from different postcodes from all over Brent who come down and represent, interact, have fun and play football. So in fairness, there is a lot of love and positivity in the community, and we encourage them to continue with that, and they come out and show that and support that.
You felt that this should happen today, and you were so staunch that this should happen today. And I can ask you, should we do this regularly? Should we keep bringing us all together like this?
I think there's a lot of great community leaders and people are doing some positive stuff with the kids. Every week there's five-a-side, every week there's fathers, grandfathers, uncles doing good work with the kids and encouraging them and doing positive stuff. And the mums and girlfriends and wives as well, so they're not to be forgotten. So in fairness, we do this as a celebration to say pat on the back dads and father figures. Once a year, Father's Day, to ensure they enjoy themselves. But hey, don't knock the stuff that happens on a daily, weekly basis. There's always positivity going around the community.
Yeah. Louis, David, I'm going to say to you that there's been a lot of news right now about knife crime and our youth getting stabbed, doing the stabbing or what have you. David, what would you say to the youth out there that you can see a lot of them in here that's doing great, but what would you say about the youth out there watching this? I don't know.
I mean, for me, I think the focus really needs to be a little bit more on actually the parents of the youth. I personally wouldn't say much to the youth. I'd speak to their parents. These guys, your parents are the key holders, they're the custodials. We need to, as parents, accept that we need to address our parenting. We need to maybe even think about the fact that we probably need to retrain. And I say that because...
Talk to me about retraining. Talk to me.
So when I say retrain, our parents, many of us, or our grandparents, came from a different country. We know how we came here. We could talk about Windrush. It's been in the news. It's a whole different experience of parenting. And I think the role of a parent has changed. So a simple example would be you could be at your dinner table sitting eating dinner with your mum and dad, or your mum, or just your dad, and be getting bullied or be accessing material that's inappropriate. And they could be sitting at the other side of the table, have no clue of that. And if we refer to my mum would have, my dad would have, well actually they wouldn't have done anything because they wouldn't have known, that they wouldn't have had to address that. So we've got to think about things that we need to keep historically, culturally, things that we need to stop and get rid of historically, culturally, and things that we need to modify.
You say get rid of historically, you know, think about it historically.
Oh, no doubt. But that's why we need to be willing to address the fact that we probably do need to address our parenting. Because it's not until you do that and you evaluate it that you start to say, one of the things we say is that my mum used to, my dad used to. And if you say that carte blanche, there's a real danger in that, because it's not everything that your mum or your dad did was correct. So if you keep saying, well, my dad used to, we used to eat rice and peas every Sunday. I don't know why, but we did. Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know, but I can have something else, can't I? No? I can do something. So we just need to be willing to have the conversation. We don't have to be too defensive about it. Just be willing to have that conversation about, well, how do we discipline? Because I work with parents, and one of the things that I find is that if you cannot use some kind of stern discipline, then often you're lost. And okay, so if you are going to use physical chastisement, for example,
we're not talking.
No. But anything, if that's all you know, where do you go when someone comes in and takes that away, says you can't do that? Where do we go? What do you do next?
So what do you do?
Exactly. You have to address your parenting. I can't tell you I could get into that, but we'd be here for a long time, I guess. But yeah.
The thing I'm watching this. I mean, David just said one thing that's key to me. Address what is now. The landscape has changed to how when our parents had us coming over, and the beating and that, it can't work anymore. So then how do you reprimand your child in a way that not going to get you into court?
Well, to be fair, you've got organisations like fatherfigure.org.uk, and you've got the likes of David that do fantastic courses and talk to parents about 21st century parenting. So in fairness, networking is the key. Reaching out to people who've got experience or are suffering similar challenges or are trying to deal with this current environment is the key. You don't have to suffer in silence, and it's not really suffering. Network with experts, with smart people who are going through the same challenges, who are parents and have got the same issues that you may believe you have. In fairness, what you may think is a difficult thing may be an easy one, particularly if it's shared and you network and you reach out to the right people.
And reaching out to the right people, website details, can we have that going on here?
Absolutely.
Louis?
I mean, I mentioned fatherfigure.org.uk. This gentleman's done countless interviews, countless training sessions, countless conversations and forums, etc. And really it's about uplifting and upskilling the parents so they can become better parents for their kids. Great first place to search, and any other networking after that, I'm sure we can point you in the right
Are
direction.
we going to see this every year, Louis?
This is the 8th year. We're going to see the 9th, we're going to see the 10th, we're going to see the 15th. So in fairness, expected to get bigger, better, and it will be continued.
Talked about the 22nd of April next year, 2020, Stephen Lawrence's day.
It's a momentous occasion. It was great to have Mr. Neville Lawrence come down, and again, I think the focus, and we're seeing that now, is just educating the kids on, just the importance and respect, the importance of not being involved in trivial issues that could become something more serious. To know that we've got a patron such as Mr. Lawrence here shows that we're all in the right direction. I'm sure he can show some guidance. He's going to have some words later on. And again, it's about unity. It's about being positive. Sometimes don't let 5 minutes turn into a situation that takes away 5 years of your life or more. And I think we've got a lot of kids doing positive stuff. So I live in hope. I believe we're going to see the best of them, not the worst of them.
Sure we do live in hope. The last thing, David, I'm going to say, fathers they try to play a part. Can I just say that half the time, if the fathers are not willing to play the part, and the mothers are still always going to be there. Now, how do we deal with that?
Okay, so before I address that, I'm gonna counter it.
Do it.
Because there's a part of the organisation which we go to court and we support men through the process of trying to re-establish contact with children who they've been denied contact. There are as much fathers who are not playing a good role, who are trying to play a good role and who are being denied access. So I want to bring that to the table as well, because it often gets missed. And I go to court 2 to 3 times a month representing these type of cases. But what we must do for the fathers who are not stepping up is we have to encourage them. We have to try to build them up.
How do you do that?
Well, we do that through things like this, by putting pressure on them and by modelling. By modelling, like showing them. I saw a guy here today said he came because he saw me playing table tennis with my son on a Friday night. So he came, he said, I've got to come. So I do it by modelling, I do it by talking to him. And in barbershops, I talk a lot on these matters. But also for the mothers, it's also their responsibility to find positive male role models who can fulfill that role that maybe their father isn't doing in that moment. And also take a bit of responsibility because you picked that guy. You picked him. You picked him. And so it's very easy to talk about feckless or worthless or waste man fathers, but they were chosen. They were chosen. So there's an element of responsibility that mothers have to also think about and take when they end up with a guy who maybe had 2 or 3 relationships where he didn't step up to the plate. and you thought he was going to step up to the plate. It's too easy. That guy's got a mother that played a part in growing him up too. So it's just too easy for us to talk about them, and we have to build them up. There's no point. You know, in my domestic violence work, I always say there's no point us just getting women to leave violent and abusive men. Why? Because those men are going to go and replicate that behaviour somewhere else. So I have to try and address this man's behaviour in a non-judgmental way. I don't agree with it, but I want to. Yeah.
Let me say, David, for the viewers, website details that they can go know more about your initiative.
Well, Louis has said it, but it is www.fatherfigure.org.uk. It's a very mobile-friendly site, so you don't just have to be on your PC. You can go to it on your mobile. You can book a free consultation, and we can go from there.
This has been Louis, and this has been David, and this is me, Pam. We're signing out now. We're going to go to the stage. And hi, I've just met an old pal of mine. He goes by the name of Mikey.
Hello,
Mikey
Sam.
Goose. How are you doing, darling? Can I get a big kiss?
See, look, all the lovey-dovey stuff already.
All the lovey-dovey. And
getting too old for
but
this.
it's a fantastic day out, isn't it?
It's a lovely day out. And
great cause.
You know what I like about it? Because we're representing the fathers. And I always believe that the fathers never get recognised. Yeah? Talk about Mother's Day, it's mother, 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 mother. But I always say, to have a good family, you need to have a father figure. And I do like what father figure's doing here today.
Yeah, excellent. You're here, you've got a stand here going on. But I also picked up one of these on the table here. I'm in a dancing mood. I'm in a dancing mood.
But guess what? Why we've called this dancing mood? Because growing up, everyone likes to dance. And I just thought I'd call my birthday party, I'm in a dancing mood. And we've been doing it now for the past 8 years. And I must point out, next year, 2019, we're going to be in Jamaica. So I want as much of us to invade Jamaica, let those Jamaicans know how us, the British, party.
The British Black Party.
Yeah.
And don't we party?
Even though, yeah, my foreparents are all Jamaican, yeah, and some from Cuba. But I'm saying to you this, yeah, we're going to invade Jamaica 2019. But for this one, 2018, we're at the Royal Lounge Banqueting Suite in Wembley.
It's magical. We're going to have a bit more words with you about this because you're going to be coming on the Lifestyle Show, no doubt, to promote this even more. I love the way you look in here, and that's grand. But talking about today's event as well, it's a nice turnout, considering that the rain was only going to fall. But the importance of it all, we know that a young boy lost his life, right here and now. The knife crime, Mikey?
The knife crime is something that, you know, we've been speaking about for years. And I don't know how we're going to put a halt to it, but somehow, some way, as a race and the new generation, we're all going to sit down together and find out how we can stop this. Because when we were growing up, it wasn't about knife. Yeah, we have a right or a good punch up, and that's it. But nowadays, you know, I can't say why the knife crime has come in effect in such a way. but I do know that if we're all united together, we all could fight this together.
Yeah, we can,
definitely.
We can. We've got to be. The older generation's got to be in tune with the younger generation.
I think so, because, you know, what we've got to do with our children today, because time has moved on in such a way, sometimes the older generation doesn't realize what the younger generation is doing, so they get left behind. And I think if we stay in touch with the younger generation, we can understand how they think and how they move. And I think that's the best way, one of the best ways anyway.
Never said. Mikey, you're here, and I'm glad to see you here because you represent part of North Wheezy, we call it, North Wheezy.
Wheezy.
Yeah, Wheezy. So, for those young guys who are thinking, even having a thought about getting into it, what's your words?
Get into promotion?
Get out of the crime, knife crime and that path.
Pam, the problem that we're going to find with the knife crime and crime within itself is that crime, to some youngsters, is the easy way of getting out of poverty. But I can say that that's not always the correct way how to get out of poverty. I think, getting an education, going to college, going to university, getting your MA. I could honestly say that I didn't do any of that until I was older. But I now understand that it's very important to have an education, because by having an education, then you could speak to other people, and converse with them and, get the business done. But if you're thinking crime, it doesn't pay.
Yeah, it might be easy, but it doesn't pay. Thank you ever so much. But for the viewers who want to know a bit more about this chappy entrepreneur from North Wheezy, let's get your social media outlets out there.
I'm going to tell you what, that's a story that we can't speak about now because we ain't got that much time. But my social media background and all that stuff, if you want to know about us, at the present moment, we do vocal training and training for presenters on an internet radio station called uniqueradio.org. You can log on to uniqueradio.org, you can send us emails and so forth, and we'll pick them up from there.
Yeah, Unique Radio, that's the place to be, .org. Thank you, Mikey.
Good.
Kiss. Mwah.
Thank you. See you soon.